So we are in Schwarzwald and we are on our way up to a waterfall. I honestly don't have a whole lot of expectations, but if you see this, then you know that I got something, maybe even a learning lesson. So Schwarzwald is in southern Germany. It's quite famous for hiking and forest outdoorsy things. In English it's called Black Forest, but since I am from Denmark I would call it by its German name. So there's some quite nice stairs up here, but since we're here in basically the middle of the day, there are of course a lot of other people. And despite it having rained for like 24 hours, if you've seen my Instagram stories, you would know there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of water in the waterfall, but let's see if I can get something.
It was interesting approaching this waterfall because, to be honest, it did look a bit underwhelming, but luckily it had much more to offer than what first met the eye.
So because there's not a whole lot of water in this waterfall, but I do have a lot of these small streams here in the background, I actually think that this is one of the places where it's a good idea to just put on the long lens, zoom in and capture all those streaks with somewhat of a long exposure. That's exactly what I've done. So I'm using the stream here in the background and I have a little bit of plant right there. Looks like some ferns. And I'm going to use those in combination with a long exposure of the water right there to get some more intimate, artsy waterfall photo. I think it can actually look pretty nice. So what I'm going to do, because we have a little bit of wind and also the water is sometimes hitting the fern, I'm going to make a long exposure, somewhat of a long exposure for the water right here. So around 3 seconds of exposure time, f16 and then ISO 50, so I can get that longer shutter speed. Maybe I will also try an ISO 100 to get twice as fast as shutter speed. I can also play a little bit around with the aperture. And then I'm going to also get a fast shutter speed shot for the plant right there. And my idea is then just to blend those two photos together. So I have a sharp photo of the plant and then long exposed water right there. I have also put on the polarizing filter. It does remove a bit of the glare from the surrounding moss and cliffs of the waterfall. So it drags a little bit more attention onto the streaks and that plant. So I don't have like too much specular highlights and stuff going on. So yeah, polarizing filter around waterfalls is usually really good.
A couple of small nice scenes to begin with. Here you can see the before and after. Besides blending in a sharper firm in the left photo, I generally just balance the brightness levels of both scenes to put more emphasis on the falling water. I also added a bit of sharpness and an autumn effect to the water, but the seemingly boring waterfall had so much more to give.
So I'm also trying a shot where I'm photographing a little bit more just like straight up. And here I'm getting an exposure, a long exposure of 1 to 2 seconds. Then I'm getting one exposure, very fast exposure. I have to up the ISO quite a lot to get a fast shutter speed of like 1/200th, 1/320th of a second to capture like all the small individual droplets. And my idea is then to put those two photos together in Photoshop, blend them together so that I get the best of both worlds, a long exposure and a fast exposure where I have those individual droplets, or to give a little bit more of an atmospheric photo. On top of that, because I'm including the sky up here, I may add a little bit of glow in post-processing too.
I really like these two photos. The blend of the fast shutter and long exposure works really well along with that glow from the sky coming into the scene. You can see the raw photos along with the finished edit right here. You really do get the best of both worlds with a blend like this.
So right now I'm shooting at about 40-50-ish millimeter. I'm simply just zooming in to this area right here, kind of long exposing, 2.5 seconds or something like that. And it's just so fun to get those streaks. It's been such a long time since I've just been like focusing on one waterfall. And let's be honest, when you first see this waterfall, it's not particularly interesting. It's simply just not. It's almost like a little bit boring. But I would honestly say that so far I've got so many great photos. At least I'm excited about them. It has been such a long time since I photographed a waterfall last time. And yeah, this here is just phenomenally beautiful. Really, really like it. The polarizing filter does make a massive difference in photographing it. So definitely, if you do go to a waterfall, especially in a forest like this, use a polarizing filter. It does cut out all that glare and it does give you that extra oomph and even like a deep green foresty-ish feeling to the photos.
In this photo I fixed the distortion, reduced the impact of the moss using the HSL sliders and put more emphasis on the small streams on the right. And in this photo I played a bit more with a soft glow and a more warm feeling to the photo. I generally like to not necessarily stick to one style but try a few different things when I edit my photos. There aren't any right or wrong when doing so, but benefiting from a broad arsenal of post-processing techniques also helps you to make decisions when you're in the field. And before you leave, let me just take a tiny bit of your time to introduce my brand new and comprehensive course on photographing waterfalls. I am super excited to announce that my brand new Mastering Waterfall Photography course is now available. It is obviously a landscape photography course all about photographing waterfalls. Waterfalls are one of the most beautiful and awe-inspiring natural wonders on Earth. And ever since I started focusing my photography on landscapes, waterfalls have been one of my favorite subjects. In this 6-hour and 19 videos course, we will learn how to not just capture both the ethereal beauty, but also the epic grandeur of waterfalls. I will discuss the equipment that you will need, including the clothing, the camera, tripod and filters. We will also talk about the best camera settings for capturing waterfalls such as aperture, shutter speed and ISO. Among others, I will cover techniques such as focus stacking, long exposure and even handheld long exposure. And I will cover the most important composition tools for creating stunning waterfall photos. In 6 different never-before-seen in-field case studies, I go out and capture a whole range of different kinds of waterfalls, everything from huge waterfalls to small creeks that most would ignore, and share my approach to doing so. In this course, I will also share my approach to culling and selecting what photos to edit, and in 6 different start-to-finish videos, I'll share how I edit the waterfalls. I will show you how to adjust the basics such as colors, contrast, balancing luminosity, and more advanced techniques such as how to blend several exposures to get the best of the best and most impressive photos. And with the included raw files, you'll be able to follow along. Finally, I've added a tutorial where I even share even more editing techniques and start to finish results from additional 9 waterfall photos. By the end of this course, you will have the knowledge and skills to capture stunning waterfall photos that you can be proud of. I've decided to make this entire course available for only $99 US, and you can get it via the link down in the description of this video or through my homepage. Also, a massive thank you to all of you who are going ahead and getting it, and a massive thank you to all of you who keep supporting me and buying my products. It is because of you, really, that I can keep making these free YouTube videos for all of you out there. So be sure to get the course via the link down in the description of the video, and see you in the next video.